Hello, everybody. How are you? I hope you're having a great Saturday. I'm just going to test really quick to see if I can hear on my YouTube page. It'll be just a second here. Just a second. Okay, so I can hear. So, hope everybody's having a great Saturday before we get this show started. Let's pay some bills today. First of all, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit it, smash it, obliterate it, destroy it. I'm still stuck at 423, still trying to make that 500. So please, 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 um, hit that subscribe button. It is absolutely positively free. Support me on Patreon. Patreon support is $2 per month. I would be really appreciative of that because I'll be using it to buy better equipment, a desk, um, and a table microphone. So I don't have to always tape in my bedroom. That would be very fantastic, but I need your support to do that. And finally, contribute to the First Baptist North Indianapolis. I always forget that. Drama Camp. There is the registration link to make your contribution. We're trying to raise $3,500 to send children to drama camp this summer. So we appreciate your support. You see the topic. I'm getting some things ready here in the background. Hopefully, um, I can do this really quickly. Okay, so let's talk about The Wiz and why it was such a terrible, 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 terrible movie. That is the topic for today. I've been wanting to do this episode for a long time, and people have been trying to talk me out of it. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna I'm just I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. I've been, like I said, ever since I started this channel, I've been wanting to do this. Um, oh, and if you're out there watching, just hit the comment section. Um, I'm trying to really get this and it's not letting me do it. I'm so sorry, guys. I hope it does what I want. Uh, da 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 da. Let's see. We're gonna try this because we can't play the music. We know we can't play the music. Um, because YouTube will take this video down. So just kind of like an update. Um, yeah, I see a lot of you watching. So yeah, come on in and say hello to me because as you can tell, I still have my blanket on because it's 80 degrees and it's super duper hot, and I refuse to turn my air conditioner off, even though it's freezing in this room. I don't care. But anyway, so for you that don't know, The Wiz, um, and I'm talking about the movie. So let me make a distinction between the movie and the Broadway stage musical. So the Broadway stage musical is based off of a book by, oh, I forget who wrote the book, The Wizard of Oz. Uh, um, hold on. Okay, so The Wonderful Wizard of Oz was a book um, that was written around the 1900s. It's a children's fantasy novel by L. Frank Baum and illustrated by W. Dinslow. It follows a young girl, Dorothy Gale, her dog Toto, who were swept away by a cyclone in Kansas to the magical land of Oz. There she travels with Yellow Brick Road to Emerald City with her companions, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, the Cowardly Lion, and to find the wizard and return home, etc., etc. So we all know that the Wizard of Oz The 1939 movie is probably one of the greatest movies of all time. It is iconic. I don't know anybody that's never not seen it. I don't know who this person is. I don't know if they exist. I don't know who hasn't seen this movie. So in the movie, they kind of don't stick to the book. So if you ever read the book, you'll see like they took some liberties. The slippers were red. I'm sorry. In the movie, the slippers were red. In the book, the uh, slippers were silver. Um, and they took a whole lot of other liberties. Um, I'm trying to think about what's the in the in the in the movie, like in the movie, Judy Garland's character Dorothy, before she transposes over to the Wonderful Land of Oz, she's has these three uncles, which will be the Tin Man, the Cowardly Lion, and a scarecrow. So all three of those are out of their costumes, and then she has a dream. So we all know at the end it was a dream. In the book, I don't think it was a dream. I think it was more like she kind of walked into the land of Oz. Um, and it's a little bit different. So in 1975, um, there was a musical made. And this time, the musical, let me tell you who wrote it, because the musical is great. So the musical was called The Wiz, the Super Soul Musical Wonderful Wizard of Oz is a musical. Of course, you know that. Um, it sticks more to the book than the Wizard of Oz did, if that's making any sense. But the big difference is the Wiz had black characters in it. Dorothy was black. She was still in Kansas. Um, it opened up October the 21st, 1974. So that was the year I was born. Um, and then it moved to Broadway the day after I turned 1 years old, January 5th, 1975. Um, who wrote it? Charles Small, and the he did the lyrics, and the book was by William F. Brown. And again, this is a retelling. It stuck more to the book again than The Wizard of Oz. So then Motown buys the rights to get this production kind of going. So they say, oh, we should make this a movie. It's a great hit. Motown's a great label. So this should work. And I'm going to explain to you in detail why this just didn't work. So the idea was to have Stephanie Mills, who portrayed Dorothy on in the Broadway production, play Dorothy in the movie. However, Diana Ross, who I love, said, no, I want to play this role. Keep in mind, Dorothy is in her teen years, so she's around 16 to maybe maybe 14 to high 19. She's in that age range. Dinah Ross was 33 years old, but she was intent on playing this role. So Barry Gordy was like, "No, you can't play this role. Um, you're too old." You know, all the criticisms that everybody had. Um, how can I explain this where it's going to make sense? The movie came out in 1978. Obviously, they filmed in 1977. Um, again, so what they did was the movie was written by um, Sidney Lumet. Oh no, he was the director. and I forget who wrote it, but da 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 da. I don't know who wrote it. I don't know who wrote it. I don't know who wrote it. But I think it was Schumacher wrote it. Well, he did. They didn't keep the black writers for the film version, so um, they problem number one. So somebody got the idea to change the location from Kansas to Harlem. I don't understand that it just didn't make sense. Like black people live in Kansas. I know they should have known that. Like they didn't realize this. Like there are black farmers across this country. They changed the whole thing because you had this rural farm setting, wholesome family to the hustle and bustle of Harlem, or was it New York City? Harlem. No, wait a minute. Queens. I'm sorry. The wait a minute. The play well, the movie was shot in Queens, but I think it took place in Harlem. Um, they opened up here. How can I start this off? Because there's so many things wrong with this movie. Like I do. So when you watch the movie, usually in a musical, the start song, like that very first song, is always like this energetic, yeah, we here and this is the story, and we're gonna tell you what happens type of song. Like it's a song that's gonna get people off their feet, clapping their hands. No, they started off with a very slow song. And in this case, because they realized, ooh, Diana Ross is a little old, they changed her character, and now Dorothy is an elementary school teacher that's contemplating taking a teaching job at high school. Why, I don't know. But of course, I do know because, again, Diana Ross was 33 at the time that this was filmed. So you're already they're messing up. So then you get to um, um, Aunt M, who was played by she was played by the mother on That's My Mama. Somebody help me. What was the name of the lady on That's My Mama? Her. So she played Aunt M, and then there was Uncle Henry. Um, and so what happens? Oh boy, this is where it gets. So you remember in The Wizard of Oz, there was a tornado. Well, Dorothy had ran away because she wanted to go to a place far, far away. And the genie or the wizard or the guy that she meets up with says, "No, you should really go home." She goes home, and the tornado's coming, but um, the family has locked itself in an underground burrow. So she goes into the house, um, and the tornado lifts her up into the land of Oz. No, the Wiz decided not to do that. They sent a tornado. Now, keep in mind this: I don't live in New York, and I hope somebody's watching. Does New York have tornadoes? I didn't think New York City had tornadoes. Maybe I don't know. I don't. I was in New York for like maybe 8 months. I never experienced a tornado. That was like something I never saw. But she's because Toto has ran out the house, so she chases Toto. The tornado in New York City lifts her up, and then she is transported to the land of Oz. That kind of sort of keep well, it really doesn't because where did they get the tornado in New York City? So anyway, she's transported to Oz. The house that this is where it gets confusing because in the Wizard of Oz, the house lands on the Wicked Witch of the East and kills her. I'm not pretty sure. Dorothy descends from the atmosphere because remember, she's lifted by a tornado in New York City, and she smashes through an electric Oz sign. So the Oz sign falls on Evermean, or what we would call the Wicked Witch of the West, who rules Munchkinland. As a result, she frees the Munchkins who populate the playground until she lands the Munchkins' main benefactor, Miss One, is the Good Witch of the North. Um, and she says, "Oh, she puts the silver shoes because remember in the Wiz, the shoes are silver." So she puts the silver shoes on Dorothy and tells her, "No, don't lose the shoes. Don't lose the shoes." Um, and then she tells her that she should follow the yellow brick road, and that may lead her to go home. So she has to search on her own following this yellow brick road. Pretty much that part is uh, pretty consistent with the Wizard of Oz. So then the next morning, yeah, this movie goes on this long. The next morning, Dorothy um meets the Scarecrow. And for all of you that know, the Scarecrow was played by Michael Jackson. Um, Wait a minute, we got some comments here. The movie was never supposed to be white done in black. I didn't say it was. I'm just saying or did I say that? I hope I wasn't saying that. The movie was never supposed to be white done in black. The Wiz was inspired by the original. Yeah, it was inspired by the original book. Um, they made the remake more modern and more relatable to a highly urban black audience. That sucked because the budget they actually budgeted a lot of money for that movie, and I'm going to get to that. So anyway, so the Wicked Witch of the West, or no, Wicked Witch of the East, or Evermean, gives Dorothy the shoes. They're silver, then keeping with the book. And now she says, "Hey, you need to follow the yellow brick road." Now you would think the song would somehow tell her she needs to follow the yellow brick road. Nope, nope. Instead, she meets the Scarecrow. And I think that does line up with the movie. So she meets the Scarecrow, and of course, the Scarecrow, as we know, is played by Michael Jackson. Best part of the movie. I'm gonna say that right now. Best part of the movie. He literally took a terrible song, "You Can't Win," and I promise you, this is an example of when a singer makes a terrible song great. Just just hit it on YouTube. Just type Crow Anthem or You Can't Win, child. That low note at the end that Michael hit, oh my goodness. The movie to me could have ended right there. I'd be like, oh, it's a short movie, but watch me go. Watch me go. Watch me go. They were pretty good. That's how good that song was. Problem, he never danced. Now, keep in mind, this isn't Thriller Michael or Bad Michael or Moonwalking Michael, but you can tell he's on that path to becoming that, right? They stick him on. I'm not going to call it a cross because that's not what it's called. But he's on this pole and he pretty much just stays up there and he's backed up by these Heckle and Jekyll and Clyde crows that have these toucan Sam beak things and they do most of the singing. And I'm like, shut up and let Michael sing. Just his part was so I don't and FYI fact, fun fact, they actually wanted Jimmy Walker to play the Scarecrow. That was a terrible choice. That's the one thing that Diana Ross got right was suggesting Michael play the Scarecrow because he did an excellent job. But like I said, when you get time, just type in Crow Anthem on YouTube or You Can't Win, child, because that note that Michael hit at that end blew me away. So now Dorothy has met up with the Scarecrow. For some some reason now they want to sing a song about following the yellow brick road. However, I'm going to say this right up front. I prefer the Wizard of Oz over the Wiz all day, every day. However, Ease on Down the Road is a better song than Follow the Yellow Brick Road. It is such a better song. It's fast paced. It's that jumpy, uh, fast song that musicals need, which I don't know why they didn't put it towards the beginning, but of course, that's not what they chose to do. But now they sing Ease on down the road. You know the song. Again, here comes my next problem. They filmed them instead of like a close-up shot like this, like I'm getting real close and you can see me. Like they did one of those way. I mean, it was like they were filming like 100 feet away. I'm like, do y'all know what a close-up is? Like they filmed it so far away you couldn't see. And maybe they were doing that to show off Michael's spin, because you know he was doing that spin back in the day. But it was like, do y'all know what a close up is? Could you show their lips moving? And I love that little run he put, that little that little run he put, and Ease on Down the Road. That was magnificent. So here comes my part where I'm about to complain. I'm about to just sit back and follow me. So they meet up with the Tin Men, played by non-singing Nipsey Russell. Are you freaking kidding me? Why in the entire world? You are Motown. You couldn't figure out somebody to play that role besides him. Really? Really? He could not sing. Tell me what he wanted from the. Oh, wait a minute. Let me backtrack. So the Scarecrow, of course, wants a brain. She takes him down from the pole. They sing Easel down the road. Michael does that little run at the end. And then they meet up with the Tin Man. And the Tin Man wants a heart. He sings, I want to say he sings Slide Some Oil on Me. Or does he sing I Want to Be Free? Hold on a second. Da, 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 da. And the thing about the Tin Man, he was abandoned in an amusement park. But oh, wait a minute. The Wiz songs. Because I'm sitting here thinking, nope. I'm gonna put a soundtrack because I'm like, wait a minute. Because I thought Slide Some Oil on Me was first. Because he sings two songs in a row. Um, uh, okay. They don't even got them in order. Oh, I think he does Slide Some Oil on Me. Wait a minute. No, hold on a second. Because this is gonna get me. What are the songs of the movie Wiz? Okay, he's on the Ultra. Okay. Yeah, because this is getting I'm like, wait a minute. Is this the oh now they're gonna just yeah. Okay, wait a minute. Sung by the Tin Man. Because I know he does too. Well, y'all, this must be a trivia question because I can't um figure out whether it was Slide Some Oil on Me, but I know he sings two songs and I'm sitting here cringing the whole time like, get it this guy off. And oh, here's a non-necessary part. His wife sat on him, and somehow like his whole middle section is missing. So he's got like a torso up and he's got legs bottom, but somehow his middle part is missing. Oh my gosh. You, you are Motown. You had access to artists like, I don't know, Al Green. Well, Al Green wasn't with Motown, but I'm just kind of throwing out names here. Stevie Wonder couldn't have played it. Um, Rich. I mean, you Nipsey Russell is what you came up with? Nipsey Russell is what you came up with. Nipsey Russell. For real? Are you for real serious? Are you for real serious? Like, again, you're Motown. You have access to great singers. This is what you come up with? Nah, bruh. Nah. I'm still trying to uh he's with uh here's what um then they meet. Another good part was me. So next, okay, so now she's met the Scarecrow's a 10 man. So next is the Cowardly Lion. Here another portion where I got a problem because I know this song. This is a I'm a Mean on Lion song. Some of it's sung well, but I got a couple little nitpicky things. Okay, so why was the Cowardly Lion in a shell at the Metropolitan Museum? That made no sense. So if it's supposed to be urban, and I get it, like which borough? I thought New York Metropolitan Theater was in Manhattan, but maybe it's not. And I said the movie took place in Harlem, but I think it's just New York City because they're using all kinds of places in New York City. Because there's five boroughs in New York City. There's Manhattan, Long Island, Jamaica, Bronx, and Queens. I named them. So proud of myself. But anyway, so they meet up with the Cowardly Lion, and he's in this shell, and the Tin Man says, "Hey, I think somebody's looking or following us, or looking at us, or staring at us, or whatever line it is he says." And then um, the, the the Cowardly Lion sings a song I really like. I'm a mean old lion, and I can't play it. Uh, but the song, of course, is a mask. He wants courage. So Scarecrow wants a brain. Tin Man wants a heart. Um, Caroline wants courage and Dorothy wants to go home. So now they're finally, you would think, okay, so now they're going to go see Wizard. Nope, here comes some more useless songs. So now they're in, I don't know if this is a nightclub. Wait a minute, I forgot this. So they go to, oh, I forgot this part. They go to a subway, and that's because they can't get a cab because they're black. Ha 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 ha. But they go to the subway, and in the subway, how can I explain this? The holes or uh, the columns turn into these. Oh, it's hard for me to describe it. Um, 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 So they're in the subway, and the trash can tries to eat the scarecrow. The columns like leave the wall and attack them. So they do this run around, da, 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 da. That messed with me as a child. I don't know why, but it just messed with me. I was just like, you know what? They didn't need to do all that. And then you start thinking about it, it's like, it's just a trash can with teeth on it. That's not scary. But as a child, terrified me. Then they're finally off to Emerald City, and they're granted an audience with the Wiz. Now, before they get to that, they got another big, useless, pointless. I don't even understand why this is in here. So they do that. Um, you got to be green, mean, yellow. What they just like name songs because apparently the Wiz, played by Richard Pryor, changes the colors. Like he has designated colors and he's always changing them. Green, black, and red. I think that's Haiti. I think that's what it represents. Um, so they finally um meet, well, the Wiz asks, who they are. And keep in mind they have a giant microphone, like a person dressed in a giant microphone and this giant camera that kind of follows them around. I'm going to talk about the budget of this movie here in just a moment. But keep this in mind. This is why this movie cost $24 million to make because they wasted a whole lot of it. I'm like, y'all just went too top over the top. But anyway, the Wiz finally meets him. Finally says, "Hey, wait a minute, I forgot another scene." So they go to Poppy Land because this is important. And so that's where the brothel and the perfume factory or whatever that is, and Dorothy and the Cowardly Lion, of course, them being mammals, they come under, they fall asleep, and then the Cowardly Lion sings Lion, which I actually do like that song. I actually do like that song. But anyway, so now the Wiz says, "Hey, I'm gonna give you your wish to go home for Dorothy, brain for Scarecrow, heart for Tin Man, courage for Cowardly Lion, but you have to kill Evermean's sister, Eveline, the Wicked Witch of the West." Let me tell you about, because if you watch that movie and her performance, that's the second only part that I loved about this movie. So when they finally meet her, she's played by the same actor that played um, Mama Thomas on What's Happening, Mabel King. So Mabel King plays Eveline, or the Wicked Witch of the West. Why they didn't just keep the name, I think they did it because of the musical. But anyway, she has this fantastic song, "Don't Nobody Bring Me No Bad News." This is one of this, the song that Michael sings and the song she sings and the Lion song are like the only three songs in this whole movie that I actually like. Um, because you're like, they kind of, and they waited so long to introduce her because you're thinking, okay, she's the protagonist. Her sister just died. She wants to choose. You'll learn that later. And they just waited and waited and waited to introduce her. Her costuming was fantastic. Um, Her throne was a toilet, and I'll talk about that here in just a moment. So they meet her, and then she runs a sweatshop. Yeah, I know. And so Dorothy somehow escapes, and she sends her army of flying monkeys who ride motorcycles. Here comes another pointless, another chase, and they're captured. Now, if you watch the play, um, you know that Dorothy was enslaved by the Wicked Witch of the West or Evelyn. Well, they didn't do that in this movie. So they capture them, um, and the Scarecrow, all of Dorothy's crew end up in this hotel. Before they get captured, they end up at this hotel and they say, Dorothy, you don't have to go home. You can get an apartment. We can live here, blah, blah, blah. And then they get captured by the flying monkeys. And so to get revenge for Dorothy killing her sister, actually it was the odd sign. She dismembers the Scarecrow, flattens the Tin Man, and hangs the Cowardly Lion by his tail to make Dorothy give the shoes. And of course, the Cowardly Lion cries, "Don't give her the shoes!" When she threatens to throw Toto into a fiery cauldron, Dorothy nearly gives it up until the Scarecrow heads to her to activate this fire sprinkle switch. Okay, I'm about to stay on that for a second here. She was literally sitting like the fire alarm was like literally right there above her toilet seat throne. It was literally right there, and all Dorothy had to do was reach up and get it. Now, for some reason, the Scarecrow didn't do it wet. Nobody else gets wet, but now Maybelline is killed. So that puts out the fire that was going to destroy um, Toto, and Dorothy nearly gives up until the Scarecrow hints to her to activate the fire sprinkler. In the movie The Wizard of Oz, of course, Dorothy throws a pot of water at her. The sprinkles put out the fire and melt Evelyn. With Evelyn dead, her spells lose their power, resulting in freedom in her sweatshop for all the workers and prisoners. Ha ha ha. Here comes my second problem. Brand New Day. Can't You Feel a Brand New Day was written by Luther Vandross, if you didn't know that. I'm giving you all these facts. You didn't know this. So Brand New Day was written by Luther Vandross. And this is a song they sing. They're dancing, and all of a sudden, they rip off their outer garments, and now they're just like half naked black people dancing around. Ooh, child. What? They start dancing and that song goes on for like 8 minutes. That is a long time for a song in any capacity. That is a very, very long time. Um, I think it's called either Brand New Day or Everybody Rejoice, one or the other. But anyway, that song goes on for 8 minutes. In the middle, they kind of break out of their monkeys costumes and the sweatshop costumes, and like I said, a bunch of half naked black people just dancing around for no reason. Well, not no reason. They're like freed, so I guess that's why they're dancing. And then, of course, they finish up a brand new day after 25 minutes. And then the monkeys give Dorothy a ride, her and her friends back a ride to Emerald City. And upon going back to the entrance, they discover that the Wiz is actually Herman Smith, aka Richard Pryor, a washed up politician from Atlantic City who came to Oz by accident in a hot air balloon. Now, they did keep that hot air balloon, but in their version, Dorothy tells him, "Hey, you gonna have to figure this." Like she goes and tells um like they all realize, oh, this man's a fraud. The Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Lion will not receive their brain, heart, and courage. But Dorothy makes them realize they already had those things all along. And even as she fears she will never find her way home, Glenda, the Good Witch of the South, appears. Why was Glenda the South introduced like at the last portion of the movie? Oh my gosh. It's like they waited and CC, now that's played by Lena Horne. Her, what, 1 minute? And wait a minute, maybe I could do that one. Maybe that's short enough. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me see. Can I do that one? I can show it, but I can't play the music. I want y'all to get this outfit. Let me share my screen. Do 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 do. I told you to know your head believe in your now she take it home now because Lena took it home. Believe in yourself. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Believe in yourself. The song is called Believe in Yourself. In and here comes my next problem with this. So of course, Lena took it home because she's Lena and she's got that excellence on her. So she gonna do what she do. Why was that baby's pinned to the dang on wall? Why? If you look at that clip, and of course I can't show the whole thing, but if you look at that clip when she's singing, there are literally babies pinned to the dang on wall. Everything is black. So when Dorothy, Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Cowardly Lion go back to meet the Wiz and say, "Hey, we want what you promised us," everything all of a sudden turns black when Glinda the Good Witch comes in to sing her song. I guess it's the sky, but there are babies literally pinned to the dang on wall. And I still to this day, I want somebody to explain to me how the dang on babies get on the dang on wall. I mean, it didn't make no sense. I mean, because of course Lena, she did her thing. She sung like she gonna sing, and she definitely 10 out of 10, right? But her singing cannot make up for the fact there's babies pinned to the dang on wall. Babies are pinned to the dang on wall. Then she disappears because her song only lasts like a minute or so. It doesn't even last a full minute. So she disappears, and then Dinah Ross finally sings Home. Now, if you know anything about The Wiz, the musical, the stage version, Home is like the quintessential I want song, right? Because musicals have an I want song. Um, she sings like again. Now the baby's in the wall. They're gone. They're gone, right? So now she sings in this black pitch ugly screen, and all the characters she's met along the way kind of start appearing on the screen, and then like the next scene, it shows her like she runs back to the apartment and the movie is over. Why was this movie made? Why was this terrible movie made? On paper, this movie should have been a success. This was a home run, out of the park home run, touchdown on the first drive type of movie. There was no reason why this movie should not have been successful, except for there were a whole lot of problems. Problem number one, they did not stick to the story of the original stage play by one not casting Stephanie Mills. Because we all know Dinah Ross was too dang on old to be playing. I know they changed her to a high school or teacher to make her the age thing make more sense, but that was a change that didn't need to be made. Second problem, they cut out songs of the stage play that were really essential. And what I mean by that is they cut out songs They cut out one of the best songs. Um, they cut out the no, they didn't cut out the feeling we once had. They cut out Tornado, which is an awesome song. They cut out the best song, I Was Born the Day Before Yesterday. That is still to me the best song from The Wiz, and for some reason they left it out of the movie. That was a song that was sung by the Scarecrow. So it's called "I Was Born the Day Before Yesterday," and yeah, dude, listen, it is one of those songs that if you haven't heard it, you should really hear it. And I can read the words. So this song is sung by the Scarecrow, and it says, "I was born on the day before yesterday. I had holes in my shoe, and I was crying the blues, and I didn't have a place to stay. Somehow I know I'm gonna make it this time, cause somehow I know I'm gonna make it this time. I was born on a hill not so far away, out of three rubber bands, old gloves for hands, and a suit that had been thrown away. They took the jacket and the pants, found a brown paper bag, and they filled it with straw. And on top of the drag, they gave me pencil in eyes and pencil in nose, although Michael wore a Reese cup on his nose. And they stuck me up there and said, "Stick, strike me a pose." But somehow I know I'm gonna make it this time. Cause somehow I know I'm gonna make it this time. This time I'm gonna make it. Listen to me now, woo woo woo. Listen to me sing one, woo woo woo. Sing so we can all hear it, woo woo woo. Gonna lift my head up, woo woo woo. Can you feel my spirit? Can you feel my spirit? And now I know that I wasn't born yesterday, that I'm fully grown, I can stand on my own, and nothing gonna get in my way because I'm gonna get mine. I'm gonna turn things around, get myself together, gonna get it down. When I feel the rain come in through the bottom of my shoes, I'm gonna leave them by the roadside. I'm gonna quit crying the blues. But somehow I know, I know I'm gonna make it this time. Yes, I know. Yes, somehow I know I'm gonna make it this time. Listen to me now, woo woo woo. Gonna sing one, woo woo woo, so you can hear it, woo woo woo. Gonna lift my head up, woo woo woo. Can you feel my spirit? Can you feel my spirit? But of course, you need to hear, like you need to type, go to YouTube and type, "I was born the day before yesterday." Matter of fact, nope, I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna put this in the link. See, guys, this song is so awesome. But that was my problem is they took like they left let me put that link up there. So they like took all that was my next part. So they took all the good songs and then they replaced them with the color green, mean. Oh my gosh. It's like you took out that awesome song, but then you replaced it with crap. And let's now talk about the budget. So this movie was budgeted, it cost $24 million to make and it made 21 million at the time. So that's considered a flop. It gave um uh, it gave it made less than what it cost to make. Um let's see. Hold on a second here. Okay. Hold on a second here. I forgot what I was looking for. Oh yeah, I done forgot what I'm looking for. Oh yeah, I want to know what. Okay, so I want to know in today's economy, what is $21 million? What? Okay, so if a movie made $21 million in 1978, what is that worth today? That would be 107.26 million with the purchasing power of today. So it will still be considered a flop. They had It's like they overspent for no reason. They just went too far with the costuming and too far with the sets and too far with the lighting and too far. It's like you didn't have to spend all of that money and you only made, so if it costs, let's say 4 million more, 111 million in today's money, but it made back 104. You lost $7 million for no reason because you spent it on stupid rewrites and bad costuming, and there were fires on the set. You should, if you ever had time, watch 15 facts about the Wiz you didn't know. Oh my goodness. I'm like, this movie was cursed from the beginning. I mean, it just had bad thing after bad thing after bad thing happen. But essentially, this, again, on paper, this movie should have worked. This should have worked, even with Diana Ross being casted as Dorothy. It still should have worked, but it took such a dark, like if you look at the Wizard of Oz and you look at the Wiz the stage play, it wasn't so dark. And I don't think audiences like dark musicals. I mean, yeah, we love Sweetie Todd, but I don't know. I don't think at that time the audiences were craving dark musicals, especially taking something from the stage that was so successful and so beloved and just ruining it. Now, it did become a cult classic. Let me say this: The Wiz did become a cult classic, um, and I'll talk about why is The Wiz a cult classic. So, The Wiz, of course, is a cult uh, classic because, again, Michael Jackson. Period. Especially with the Michael biopic, although they skipped that in the Michael biopic, but it featured other people like Diana Ross, even though she was too old, Richard Pryor, um, the one guy that played uh, the lion, whose name I forget. Um, it it was meant to take a more in-depth look into the African American community, but it failed. Like it could have succeeded. Like where the stage play succeeded in bringing Black culture and celebrating that. This movie kind of dropped it. It was like it was too many metaphors. That's the problem. It was too many metaphors. When you do those metaphors, like I was going to say Oppenheimer. Um, mm, the guy that directed The Wiz, Sidney Pollack. When you do too many, like they did, Black people can't get a cab. The colors constantly changing. Um, Prostitution. Like they had so many metaphors that it was hard to concentrate on one. Two is fine, three is too many. And when you have, like, there's several more that I could go into naming. Like I said, they had the colors changing. They had, of course, I said, you can't get a cab because you're black. Um, it taking place in New York City, which I still don't understand why they changed it from Kansas because again, black people live in Kansas. I don't really understand that. Black people actually live in Kansas. Um, the the sweatshops, the whole thing. I'm just like, it was just too much. They waited way too late to introduce Glenda. Like they waited like right at the end where Glenda, even in the book, even in The Wizard of Oz, even in The Wiz, the stage play, Glenda was introduced much earlier. Putting her at the end like that, maybe Lena Horne wasn't available for filming. I don't know. This movie came out when I was 4, so I'm just not sure what they were thinking about that. And I don't know. My ultimate failure is it's Diana Ross. She was just too dang on old to be playing Dorothy. When you think of Dorothy, you think of a child. Diana Ross was not a child. She was 33 years old. That is too old to be playing a little girl. And even if they changed it to a high school teacher, it didn't feel the same. It was like it was an unnecessary, unforced error. You're making error. The movie made errors that was not necessary. It's like you did all these things, and they just if you had just stuck to the original stage production, this movie would have been a bona fide classic. It's a cult classic now because pretty much every black family I know has seen this. I've seen it at least 10 times and I don't even like it. Um, um, I mean, I mean, it, but it doesn't come on TV as much. But you can still tell it's one of those ones, and I don't know how to say this. It was like they should have just left well enough alone. Just leave it alone. You didn't have to do this. Stick to the original Broadway play. Just do that. Don't change the song. Don't delete songs and then add crap. Don't do it. Just do what the stage play did, and you have it. But ultimately, again, the failure was casting Diana Ross as Dorothy. She was just way too old. Now she wasn't old, but she was too old for that particular role because again, Dorothy is a child. In the book, she was a much younger little girl. And the movies, Judy Garland was like 18, 19, maybe 20. And of course, Stephanie Mills was 20-ish, around that age. Neither one of them were 33 dang on years old. And they changed so much of it, it just lost its original appeal. This, like I said, this movie should have been a runaway block office smash hit. And when you look at it on paper, it's like this can't not work. But somehow, unforced errors, like nobody held a gun to their head and said, "Hey," they could have told Diana Ross, "Hey, no, you just too old. You just too old to be playing Dorothy. Go cry a river." They didn't have to cast her. They could have said no. The smartest thing they did was cast Michael as the Scarecrow. That was the best decision of this whole movie. Oh, and Mabel King. Now Mabel King was actually in the stage production, and they brought her on, and I think the person that played the Cowardly Lion, um, 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 he played he played on the Broadway production. Um, and let's see. uh, it was just like this movie. Um, I wanted to say one more thing. Yeah, let's look at um the critical reception. Of course, um 38% of critics were had positive reviews. Everybody had um the same complaint. Diana Ross way too early, too young, too old to be playing Dorothy. Um, and it wasn't just that, like the way she portrayed Dorothy, that was the other thing. She portrayed Dorothy in such it was like drag it out. It was like this movie's only an hour and 33 minutes, and I promise I thought this movie was like 3 hours. It just seemed longer. Um, and like, why did you do that? Um, we're gonna sit here. Do, 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 do. So like I said, Michael was the highlight. So it says here Jackson's performance as Scarecrow was one of the few universally praised elements, with critics saying he possessed a genuine acting talent and provided the only genuinely memorable moments. While Epper said Jackson fills the role with humor and warmth, of the results, Jackson stated, I don't think it could have been any better. I really don't. In 1980, Jackson stated his time working with the Wiz was my greatest experience so far. I'll never forget that, etc. That again, that's a highlight. Low light, Diana Ross, highlight Michael Jackson and Maybelline. But I want to know what is the name of the actor. Hold on a second here. I'm gonna find out this name. What is the name of the actor that played in The Wiz? Ted Ross. That's his name. Okay, so Ted Ross um, played the Cowardly Lion, and Nipsey Russell played. Uh, oh, da 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 da. Yeah, he didn't really do too much. Nipsey Russell's name was Julius Russell. Mm, and Lena Horne, of course. Uh, Nipsey Russell, if you all don't know, he was a black guy. He was like a poet, singer, yeah, if that's what you want to call it. But he would like guest star on shows. Like he wasn't like I don't know if you call him a stand-up comic, but he started as a comedian. Um um I'm trying to remember. Okay, so I know we of course we all know Richard Pryor. Now, no, we didn't. So, and like I said, there's so many things about this movie. I just cried because this should have been so much better, and it was such a terrible movie. It's like one of those movies. It's so bad. that I keep watching it and picking out other things like I didn't like this was terrible, that was terrible. And it just keeps going and going and going. Um, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it alone. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave it alone because we know it was a terrible movie. I know it's a cult classic and everybody loves it, but basically, you just love Michael. Period. That's the only part you ever liked, and he didn't have enough screen time. That was my other complaint. But that was um pretty much that was it. Um, I'm trying to see. Wait a minute. Did you all know there was a silent movie of The Wizard of Oz called in 1902? Dorothy was played by Anna Wagner in 1908. I did not know that. I thought the Wizard of Oz movie was the first book. But anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Um, I like I said, I've been wanting to do this for a long, long, long time. But join me tomorrow at 7 o'clock for the Sunday show. We've got a jam-packed Sunday show. There's a lot of things to talk about. Um, I'll definitely be talking about the Carmelo Anthony situation, the situation in South Carolina, talk about a bevy of things. Um, I'll talk about where are the players that I'm so normally used to hearing from because they've been silent. But again, you'll just have to wait till tomorrow. So remember to like this page, comment, share, and subscribe. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And finally, like, share, comment, subscribe. Have a great evening. I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.